Welcome back to Bold of You to Say. We're back with another episode.
Welcome back.
Wow.
I'm not doing the scream.
What character development this episode.
I'm sorry. I just don't. My larynx are just like, no, not today.
This week we talked about Alabama. They're not good at killing people, and maybe they should stop doing that. Maybe state-sponsored violence isn't good or okay. There was a thing with Dark Brandon. He was like, "Fuck you, unions. I hate you," but we did not cover it. Okay, we gave no information and no commentary on it. So don't even ask.
Don't even.
Okay. And this week, for the movie we watched Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
Exactly.
I feel bad for expecting so little, but it was
actually decent.
Infinitely better than Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. Out of the two movies about historical figures hunting vampires, it's the best one, I would say.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, follow me on social media. Don't follow Gavin anywhere.
Don't follow me.
Don't
Stop
do it. Please.
Come on, man. Have some dignity.
Stop asking about it too.
Right. Like
it's not gonna happen.
Knocking on my window, knocking on my door, trying to get in this butthole.
Yeah. Anyway, share the show with a friend. Tweet our clips. Tweet our episodes. Our clip channels in the description. Leave a comment, but only if it's nice. Nice comments only, and leave us a review if it's positive. If not, we will cry, and we don't want to have to deal with that.
I will cry and nuke your house at the same time.
Subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Turn on notifications. Turn on automatic downloads. You want to get into it?
Let's hop on into this pussy.
Yeah.
I'm just a weirdo.
Gavin's just a moron.
Yeah, that is a true statement. I would not. If anyone was like, "Hey, we did a research paper and we proved that you're a moron," I would sign it.
Yeah. So anyway, we are limited on time. So I will. This news minute will be a choose your own adventure. So, all right. Do you want to cover the fall of Dark Brandon, or do you want to talk about Alabama pausing executions because of 3 botched lethal injections?
I kind of want to talk about the fall. Actually, no. Let's do Alabama. Let's do Alabama.
Okay. It is about. It is about state-sponsored murder, but it is somehow the lighter of the two topics.
Wow. Is it? What was the other one about the railroad strike thing?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't find that to be a fall of Dark Brandon, though.
Well, okay, so this will be like my 30-second Spark Notes version of what I was going to talk about. Basically, like the railroad companies and the White House negotiated like a tentative agreement like a few months ago, right? And it had like some good stuff. It wasn't really, enough for the railroad workers, because like it included one single paid sick day, or not even a paid sick day, just a paid personal day per year, and no paid time off for like sick days and like hospital visits or anything. It had some good things, but it's just not enough. And it just seemed really hasty for Biden to like seemingly just immediately side with the companies who have way more power than the workers, and it kind of kneecaps any leverage that the workers would have. That's a big point. And
that's fair.
I was gonna cap it off with like, I realize there are reasons he did it. However, I don't agree with those reasons, because like it kind of just comes down to like, it would be hard to give the workers what they want, so we're not gonna try.
And like, it's also in the backdrop of potential economic recession. So like the consequences of not making it. I like how we're just like, let's do Alabama and then immediately talking about this Dark Brandon thing.
Well, this is just the Spark Notes version.
Right. The consequences of not making this deal, even if it's tentative, are significantly worse than if you made some sort of deal.
Right. Well, I did, respond to that point in my notes. Basically, like how I see it is like, doesn't that kind of prove the workers' point that they are very important for the economy and therefore they deserve better benefits? You know, it's
And
like
there's no doubt-
if it's such a big deal if they strike, maybe the railroad companies should like meet them, you know, meet their demands.
Right. And given the importantness of this situation, I don't have any doubt that President Biden is like talking to unions himself and being like, "Hey, I know, trust me, I know, but
Yeah. Well, everything that I've read like a couple articles just preparing for that segment, and it seems like he is going around saying like, yeah, I know this kind of sucks, but hey, I couldn't do anything. Like, just, it would be hard, so we're not going to do it. Like, it would be hard, so I'm just going to kneecap the unions. And by the way, I looked at like the both articles that I looked at cited that 8 out of 12 railroad unions signed on to the deal. However, the 4 that didn't sign on to the deal represent more than half of the workers. So this isn't even like something that a majority of the workers agreed to. It's just being imposed on them.
And that entire count is based off of union workers, not just workers.
Yeah.
Because if you're not sorry, I was eating a Biscoff cookie and it so good. Anyway, so like, yeah, I get it if that 8 number, 8 of 12 workers, it's like, yeah, those are people that are in the union. The other 4 weren't in the union.
No, 8.
Yeah.
So 8 of so there were 12 unions that were like at the table. 8 of them agreed to it, but the 4 that didn't agree to it, like the number of workers in the 4 unions outweighs the number of workers in the other 8.
Okay. Yeah, and that's just kind of how bureaucracy works too. That kind of sucks in the sense that they're like, we're not going off of population of workers, we're going off of the
right. Well, that was a tentative agreement, and from everything that I've seen, not just reading the 2 articles, but like listening to other people's coverage of it, like there's a whole like process with union negotiations. Like there's multiple like
levels,
like
multiple levels.
Yeah, there's like the tentative agreement, and then they kind of work off of that and add things, maybe subtract things. Like there is a process, and there are like multiple steps, and they were at like step 1. And, there are other steps like maybe going on strike and, using your leverage to like to get what you want in the contract.
Right.
But the Biden administration just kind of cut it off at step 1 and said, no, you're not allowed to strike and you're not allowed to use your leverage to get what you want. And if you do, you have no protections.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all to say we are not covering the railroad strike.
Well, and okay, yeah.
That's all to say we are not doing that segment.
It reminds me of that one Ronald Reagan quote that goes, "I will not use my that
Ronald Reagan quote."
That one, and
I hate the poor black people and hippies.
I will not use I will not use my competitors' youth and inexperience as a talking point in this debate. Because, the whole thing was he was running against someone who was saying that he was like too old to be president, which is arguably fair. And Ronald Reagan said, "I won't use for political reasons my competitors' youth and inexperience as a talking point." It's funny.
It's a cool quote and all, but
say what you will, but that was funny.
It's a cute quote and all. But I feel like, and like it is a nuanced conversation. Like, hey, should there be age limits for congressmen or presidents or anything like that? Like it's a nuanced conversation. But I do agree with the take to an extent that if you're too old to know how a phone works, maybe you shouldn't be regulating big tech.
Or I don't know, maybe if you have Alzheimer's.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, if you have medically diagnosed dementia, like I think Dianne Feinstein, that 110-year-old fossil in Congress, she I don't know, I don't follow her, to that extent, but I have heard that she actually has non-hyperbolic dementia.
That's great.
Like, that is a medical reality that she lives with. It is not a talking point. It's just a medical
Man, you sound
condition.
very ableist.
You know, look, physical disabilities should not affect your ability to run for Congress or be in Congress. But if you cannot remember what you're voting on, should we have you voting on it?
She's 89 years old, and she's still a senator.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is also ageist, and to make an inference of like you're 89, ageist and ableist.
Look, I haven't seen Hamilton in a long time, but I know that there's like a famous quote from the show. It's like, you know, legacy or whatever is about planting trees for a future that you won't see.
No, I know it verbatim. Legacy. What is a legacy? It's planting shit.
I know it verbatim.
Yeah,
but it's about planting a tree and you don't see the tree, but your kids get the tree. But it's like, she's barely witnessing the seed of that tree. She doesn't even remember that there is a tree.
I think at this point she's kind of seen the tree that was supposed to take like a century to come to fruition.
She remembers the tree from Hamilton.
Right, the tree that killed Alexander Hamilton. Yes.
Yeah. No, the one thing that I know, like one of like the few stories that I remember specifically about Dianne Feinstein is when like a bunch of like kids, you know, were, you know, doing a project. It was like, hey, let's, you know, talk to our senator about environmentalism, like, because we're going to inherit this earth that is being scorched. And
was she like a big dick?
So they came like to her office or something, and it was a bunch of like, you know, like 6 to 8 year old children. Like, these were young kids, and they had signs like "Save the Earth" or whatever, and they were like, "Miss Feinstein, you know, you work with fossil fuel companies, and you know, we ask that you respect the will of the people and not do the bidding of oil companies and all that, and you know, will you support the Green New Deal?" And she was like, "Look, they give me a lot of money. They give me so much fucking money. So you need to go home and you need to forget that you saw me today. I need you to go home and just forget that you are going to inherit a ruined earth, because this is just how politics works."
It's, you know, it's
she
so
basically
cool
told them to go fuck themselves.
I love that. Because, okay, I don't love that. That is my point. Because fuck you. It is your job first to take care of your constituents and give them adequate answers to their questions.
Yeah, and these were children, by the way. All she had to do was say, "Oh, I'm so proud of you for getting involved, and I will do everything I can to support your future." But instead, she didn't even put on the mask. She was full mask off, like, "No, I hate you, and I think that your life should be sacrificed to line my pockets."
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all to say we are not covering the railroad stuff.
Indeed.
Yeah. So anyway, the Alabama governor is asking for a pause on executions because
turns out they're all his cousin and he didn't have his way with them.
Yeah. Yeah. He was like, we had so much unfinished business. No, like they're just apparently bad at killing people. So there were this is what the article says. It was the state's second failed lethal injection in 2 months and the third since 2018.
That's awesome.
And this isn't like a unique thing. Like there's like a significant number of executions that just like they couldn't find a vein, or like the drug didn't like set in right, and like the person's like still awake and like in pain. Some have been like called off mid execution just because it's not working. Like it's just fucked. I was listening to Kyle Kalinski's segment on this particular story, and he's brought this up with other stories regarding like lethal injection. Apparently, like we used to get like a drug cocktail from a company that operated out of Europe, but I think off the top of my head, I'm just remembering, I think since like the 70s, they were like, hey, Europe doesn't really do the death penalty anymore, so we're going to kind of stop operating.
It'd be funny if they were like, yo, listen, this is a fertilizer. Why are you injecting it into the fuck are you doing? You're killing what?
So
No.
since we are one of the very few countries that still does executions, we've had to like use domestically produced drugs that just do not work as well. So
it's funny we can kill people with the lack of insulin, but we can't kill people when we actually fucking try.
Yeah. No, we're bad at keeping people alive and killing people. How wild is that? But America's number one.
We're number one at trying at badly trying and attempting to kill people,
and
we're number
keeping
one,
them alive.
And we're number one at failure to keep them alive if they're diabetic.
Yeah. Ooh. But yeah, so we're not even good at killing people. But also maybe this should be taken as a hint that the state shouldn't be killing people. If like the manufacturer is like, hey, the place that we're operating out of has kind of evolved past this archaic form of punishment. Like maybe instead of fighting tooth and nail to keep it going, maybe don't. Like, I don't know what your thoughts are on the death penalty in general, but I don't think the state should kill people.
So like, yeah, I don't think they should either, but there are some cases where like, I don't know. There are some cases where the person's like black, and I'm joking. As a joke, I'm completely 100% joking. But
that is what some people will say. That is the Tucker Carlson take.
Exactly. There are some cases where like the person is clearly like a psychopath, and no amount of punishment will actually, no amount of rehabilitation, no amount of like anything will keep them from murdering or something. Now, yeah,
well, keeping them in jail will keep them from murdering people.
Right, but it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
It costs a lot of money.
Yeah, we should kill people because it costs too much money to keep them alive.
Yeah.
I don't think that's take. I think that's a really like
okay. Let me get to the point,
argument.
The crux of my argument. I don't agree with capital punishment. I think it's dumb because on a matter of principle, why is the state allowed to do something that the citizens can't?
Yeah. Like I think there are situations where like the state like could kill people, like if someone like is threatening other people's lives and they need to like send someone in to take out the person threatening people's lives, like I understand that. Like if you are like in the field,
oh yeah, like emergency
I get that.
Stuff, like
but
if
you have the person contained and they are no material threat to anyone, then there's no real reason to kill them other than you're really mad at them. And that's the only reason that I've seen people present. Like there are two, like, calling back to Kyle Kolinski, like his take is like, yeah, some people like 4% of the time we kill the wrong people. Like we just some percentage of the time we kill innocent people on death row, due to a combination of reasons. And that's why he's against it. But like, just on the principle of it, he's for killing, like you said, people that are just really like, too far gone or whatever. But I don't also, like, agree with the principle of that. Like, I think that stems from anger. And I think it really shows, like, it is a symptom of a barbaric state if people get killed just because people are mad at them.
And, to that point too, who decides whether or not someone is too far gone to...
Yeah.
Like, what measure of that? Like, are we going off of Ted Bundy? Or what is our measuring stick here? Because there will be some people, mostly professional people who are like in psychology, who are like, no, we can try to figure out how to treat them. Because inherently as people, they have worth and value, and we should try to help them. Which, to your point too, that just kind of lays bare the fact that the death penalty is more based on people being angry.
Yeah.
Which I get. Even like when I was taking a criminal justice class, the teacher of that class was the chief of police, and he was against the death penalty.
Yeah, it's just like, on a philosophical level, like there's a bit more room for argument, but just on a philosophical level, I don't agree with the concept of the state killing people that are of no threat anymore. But also just on a practical level, I don't know if you watched the thing that I sent you, I think last week, but
Yeah, that was really hot with they were eating the
the other
cake
thing
out of,
about how I think it was the Supreme Court. They decided that innocence isn't enough to get you off of death row. Yeah. There was someone on death row who was proven innocent, but they were still scheduled to be executed because of some like procedural issue. And the Supreme Court was just like, fuck them. So, on a practical level, one, roughly 4% of the time we just kill the wrong people. And two, our institutions are run by very flawed people who will just choose to kill people just out of either incompetency or malice.
I forget why. So, like you said, very flawed people. They just hate you.
Yeah, no, that was my like charitable way of putting it. People that hate you run our institutions.
They just hate you.
Yeah, that's pretty much the long and short of it. I will also might I remind the court, and I brought this up in one of my videos that I made last year. When I mentioned it in the video, it was in the context of like, should superheroes kill people, which is surprisingly still a debate. But people seem to think that comic books are reality. And what I mean by that is they think that, like, the Joker breaking out of Arkham Asylum and holding a bank hostage, like, is a real thing that happens. And it just doesn't. People generally do not escape prison. And when they do, they do not go on to do, like, literally 9/11.
Right.
So, like, that being a threat, that isn't real.
It'd be really funny if the Joker left, like Arkham, not like like Gotham. Sorry, left, fucking Gotham, and then went to like Texas and did whatever he wanted to do.
Yeah,
just
you kind of blend right in there. Like, yeah, we also love guns and we hate people.
What? The liberties in this state are a lot more than Gotham would have provided. What? You're actually gonna kill me if I do something bad?
The last thing that I will bring up with the whole death penalty thing is we do have a constitutional rule against cruel and unusual punishment. And I, if I may be so bold as to say, killing, ending.
He said it.
I said the thing. Ending a person's life should constitute cruel and or unusual.
You know what I say to that, Alex?
What?
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah.
You see, and the people who decide whether or not that is cruel and unusual also hate you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So also hate you, and if they're given the decision to allow a 12-year-old to abort their pregnancy because their dad raped them, they'll say no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's like
so
how you were
cruel and unusual. I don't think they're the authority to go to.
Yeah, it's like what you were joking about earlier. Like, yeah, I don't believe in the death penalty, but some people are black. Like, that is like literally, like legitimately some people's take, and a lot of those people are in the government, and like they won't come out and. I mean, some of them will, but a lot of them will not come out and say like, yeah, we should just kill minorities. But I mean, that's reflected in what they believe in policy wise. So maybe no one has the right to decide who lives and who dies. Mm-hmm. If it can be helped. Again, like if someone is holding people hostage and the only option is to like, subdue them or kill them, like I will not lose sleep over that. But that is when you have burned through all other options.
Lobotomize them.
But like if you have them in custody, there is no reason to kill them other than you're angry at them and like you don't want to spend money, which like if I really don't want to get into the realm of boiling people's lives down to a dollar value.
What? Wait, you don't want to go back to pre-1860s?
Look. Look,
What are you talking about?
I don't like the argument that like, oh, it's too expensive to keep prisoners alive. Like, should we just execute every prisoner then if that's what it's about? If it's about money, why don't we just kill every person that has life in prison?
Yeah.
Why don't we just put them all on a colony island? That would only cost the money that it would take to transport them.
The United States has 25% of the world's prison population.
Yeah, and what, like, I want to say 5%, but that might not be correct. But like a lower percentage of the population.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, it's a slippery slope when you talk about like, yeah, we should kill some prisoners because it's too expensive to keep them alive. Like that is an incredibly slippery slope, and it can get to some very ugly, dangerous territory.
They're too dangerous to be left alive.
Anyway, so we watched a movie this week.
Dude, we watched a movie and it was okay. It was okay.
I thought it was pretty good. I was kind of gushing about it over the phone. What did you think about it?
I thought it was okay. It was okay. It being like a huge political nerd who has watched multiple documentaries about Abraham Lincoln.
By the way, we watched Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter.
I find it funny that like they would just let him like melt down all the silver and go on a train with him and two of his buddies.
Yeah.
To allegedly, I guess, ambush vampires.
Well, was the Secret Service around at that point?
You know, actually, I think that the morning that Abraham Lincoln signed the Secret Service into law, he was assassinated.
Jesus.
So,
speaking of that, though, at the end of the movie, Mary Todd Lincoln is like, Abe, come on, get in the carriage. We're going to be late for the theater. You know what that felt like? There's a movie, and I like, obviously it's like a little different because you know how Abraham Lincoln's story ends, but it reminds me of the movie Remember Me. It has Robert Pattinson and some other lady in it, and it's like a romantic, like it's either a romantic comedy or romantic drama. What was that?
Is that when he's in the World Trade Center?
Yeah, so it's like an entire like romantic story, and at the end of the movie, Robert Pattinson is at work, and the camera pulls out, and it's revealed that he is in the World Trade Center on the morning of September 11th, 2001, and it is not part of the plot. It doesn't tie into anything. That's just how the movie ends.
What?
Like I felt a little bit of that when Mary Todd Lincoln is like, Abe, come on, we're going to be late for the theater.
We all know what's going to happen.
Also,
right?
We just assume that that's the theater they're going to. Like they only went to the theater one time. Could have been another thing.
Right. I mean, you know, it turns out he also went to the theater on Monday before that happened. So that could have been what they were referencing.
Abe, get in the carriage. We're going to be late for the theater. We only have 2 shows that we're going to this week. This one and another one on Thursday.
The person who's going to assassinate you only has 2 bullets.
Yeah, if he doesn't make it this time.
Yeah. I like how the vampire too is like, Abraham, let me turn you, and we can work forever to make the world a better place.
I kind of wish that they went through with that.
That would have been really funny.
Just to commit to how ahistorical it is.
Right. No, it just becomes an alternate history. Like, what if vampires were actually a subspecies of human?
Well, like at the end of the movie, Dominic Cooper's character, the vampire guy, he's like, you know, reflecting earlier in the movie when Abe is like drinking at the bar and he's going to kill the guy. And he's like, when I see a man drink this much, he either wants to kiss a girl or kill a man. So which is it? And he does that at like a modern day bar. And like, I really, really wanted I really wanted it to end with like, a man either wants to kill a girl or kiss a man. So which is it? Obama.
That would have been hilarious. I would have loved to see that.
Can we get just like a whole cinematic universe? Like when a guy wants to kiss a girl, he kills a man. So which is it? John F. Kennedy. And then eventually they start running out of good presidents. So it's like when a man drinks, he wants to kill his wife. So which is it? Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson. Or like it's just like the next one is like Donald Trump.
Yeah,
it's just like
I figure like 200 years into the country's history, like he's got to get just tired of this. Like when a man kills a woman, he wants to kiss a man. So which is it? So which is it? Donald Trump.
When a man kills a kiss, he either wants to man a woman or woman a man. So what is it? So what is it? And it's like Donald Trump just like taking a shot of whiskey and he slaps him on the back and a fucking gun drops off and he's like, I'm gonna take the shot now.
What if he starts like branching out to other countries? Also, by the way, I like to imagine that when you become a vampire, you just like stop metabolizing, so he gets progressively drunker like each and every encounter. So he's like, when a girl kisses a man, she kills she which is it? Queen Elizabeth II.
And she's just like, how did you get in my bedroom? Who are you?
Anyway, one thing that I love about this movie is how like it's ridiculous. Like it is like funny. Like I have laughed out loud at many moments just because they go so hard unashamedly. But I love how seriously it takes it. It's the same thing that I've said about other things, you know, Christian Anhole, Robert Pattinson, yada, yada. But they play it like Shakespeare.
Mm-hmm.
They play it 100% straight. Like I said this on the phone. If you didn't know that vampires weren't real, you would think that this is a straight biopic.
Right. Exactly.
And it is badass. I love all like the slow-mo stuff.
Right.
And just the idea of Abraham Lincoln hunting vampires with a silver-tipped axe is
and that's just like his hobby.
Yeah, like he's doing politics, but you know, by night he is hunting vampires. Just like it feels like a Rick and Morty premise kind of. But like it goes so hard.
It's so great. I love, you know, I was kind of hoping the first vampire he killed like after he killed him, I was kind of hoping he would like have that cliche where he looks behind him and he sees the hat and he goes, "Yeah, I like that hat. I'm gonna take gonna take this hat."
No, I wish that they should have soloed his hat.
Right, like that's how he murdered a vampire, the first vampire he murdered, and he stole the hat.
Yeah, it was annoying when Solo did it, and it was annoying when Black Widow did it. The whole like, this is actually the backstory for the outfit that you've never thought about once. But now, like, the fifth time, the sixth time, like, each time I see it in a movie, it just gets progressively funnier to me.
Right. No, and I love how in this movie it's so obtuse that it's like, I'm like cheering it on, like, yeah, come on. Yeah. Look at the hat. Look at the hat. Take the hat.
Yeah.
You know you want it, Abraham Lincoln.
By the way, like, were hats just made out of steel back then? Because, like...
Yeah, how did she stand on that?
Yeah.
How did she stand on that?
Abe, like, walked Mary Todd Lincoln home, and she, like, stood on his hat to, like, be as tall as him or whatever, and I was like, what is it? Like, she's gonna fall. Like, it's gonna collapse. And it just didn't. She stood on it. So, like, either she weighs 2 pounds or that hat is made of adamantium.
She's like, I run on coffee and heroin.
Yeah. By the way, I love it kind of relates to the soloing thing, like soloing his hat, but they like movies like this like they kind of like do the Forrest Gump thing where it's like, oh, hey there, Elvis, you know?
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I was hoping so hard that they would like run into Harriet Tubman.
Or
And
like Ulysses S. Grant.
yeah, and then they did work with Harriet Tubman, and I just like. By the way, the movie Harriet, if you haven't seen it, she doesn't hunt vampires, but it does present Harriet Tubman as an absolute like psychic badass.
Yeah.
So just side recommendation, but like, you know, like when they introduce like, you know, this young beautiful woman walks into the store that Abe is running, like I was like, oh, she's gonna be like, hi there, Abraham Lincoln. I am Mary Todd Lincoln.
Even though they're not married yet.
Yeah.
Like I am married Todd Lincoln. He's like, what?
I expect.
What do you?
Hey, maybe for the time, maybe we could have been cousins. I don't know. But
actually,
yeah,
probably they probably were. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I just love it when movies like period pieces, especially ones like this where they just present historical figures like hunting vampires and stuff. Like I love it when they're like, "Hi there, I am historical figure."
Right.
I love it.
I think it'd be great if like if Lincoln was just a bit more like in the script, like in the historical time, and everyone else was just kind of like more in a biopic mode.
Yeah.
So she's just like, hi there, I am Mary Todd Lincoln. And he's just like,
doesn't your family own slaves?
Doesn't like your family own slaves? Also, how do you have my last? Are we related?
Yeah.
Like, do I know? How do I know you?
Yeah.
How am I like you're beautiful? Don't get me wrong, but like, how do I? Anyway, I hunt vampires.
Yes, that's another thing that I love. Early Spider-Man comics did this too, where like, you know, Peter like walks into the Daily Bugle office and Betty Brant, the secretary, is like, hey, how do you get all these pictures of Spider-Man and all the villains and stuff? And he's like, well, to tell you the truth, I am secretly Spider-Man, and I take all of these pictures of myself with a camera that I put on my belt. And she's like, oh, Peter, you joker. And the same thing happens in this movie. Mary Todd Lincoln is like, what secrets are you hiding, Abraham Lincoln? What are you? Why are you always so tired? And why do you have blood on your face? And he's like,
not every blood on his like black viscous sludge on your face and clothes. Yeah. Where did that come from?
Yeah, why are you drenched in black sludge? And he's like, well, to tell you the truth, Mary Todd Lincoln, I secretly hunt vampires at night. She's like, oh, Abraham Lincoln, you jokester. I love it. Like it's
on the back.
It is a total trope. Like it is overdone, but I still love it each and every time it happens.
I think it'd be great if like she just assumes that he runs. Like I know oil wasn't as big as a deal back then, but like she just assumes that he runs like an oil pump.
Yeah.
Trying to get petroleum out of the ground. Right?
Yeah.
And she just thinks it's like a side hustle that he's just waiting to like surprise her with. And she's just like, oh, I know he's working on the oil rigs.
This'll pair great with my legacy of slavery in the family, which is a real thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of whitewash also, that, don't they?
Tom Brady has a legacy of slavery in his family as well.
Shit.
Yeah. He also did that like my you know that show on PBS that's like my ancestry or something?
My mom loves that show.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. But like, Tom Brady did that, and he asked them to leave that bit out.
Yeah, I've heard that some celebrities will do that because it seems like every episode, like depending on the celebrity's race, it is always either like, hey, your family owned a lot of slaves, or your family was owned by, you know, this family here.
Right. And like, especially someone in like Tom Brady's position
of slavery and oppression in this country.
What? It's, you know, it's almost like even someone in Tom Brady's position, like you could air that and then be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. I need to reach out to these families and make sure that they're okay and have everything that they need because I owe them that.
Yeah, because he
as
is
a
like a multi-millionaire
quarterback.
Yeah, like his family has built generational wealth based off of stolen labor, and he has built his personal wealth off of playing a sports game, which, not to belittle that, but like there are more difficult things to be a millionaire for, and maybe like you should give a little bit of that back to the generations of people that you've built your family's wealth
Preface this. I want to say I'm joking 100%. 100% I'm joking in this.
What are you gonna say?
It's just like, it turns out he's a slaveholder, and like one of the slaves was like Obama's like family.
Jesus.
And he's like, hi, Mr. President. So
Oops,
yikes. So yeah, that's what happened. Here's some brownies. Actually, no, sorry. Here, never mind. Here's some what are they? Rice Krispie treats, because brownies are kind of.
Yeah, I don't want it to sound like a race thing.
I don't want it to. Here's some Rice Krispie treats. Wait, no, they're too white.
These are white. Yeah, these. Here's
hold on.
Here's $10,000.
I got you some zebra cakes. Here's some zebra cakes. All the kids love them.
Yeah. See, they're black and white.
See, they're mixed together, black and white.
Just like this country, it is a melting pot.
Just like this beautiful country.
Here's $10,000 still. I feel like I have botched this interaction.
Should I send this to your CPAC, or would you prefer I give it to you personally?
Yeah, should I send this to CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Conference?
Fuck. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah,
I should know more about that. I don't think he would either. I think he'd be like, first off, I'm a former president.
Anyway, before we get to final verdicts on the movie, I will.
Oh wait. When that one scene when the lady vampire gets killed and she fires the gun at her fucking head, and the little sword is there, the little Lego sword.
Yeah, that's why I say this movie goes hard. Like especially, dude, when he like gets something happens with the axe, he like gets thrown the axe or something, and he like catches it and it turns into a gun. I was like cheering, like that was
pretty badass.
Like the movie just is awesome. Like it tickles a part of my brain that loves like slow-mo, like dumb action stuff.
And the day after he does the Gettysburg.
Yeah. Dude,
the day after he does the Gettysburg Address,
dude. Even the speeches felt badass.
Like sorry, I'm a person who's actually like, I've actually done research on these speeches.
I actually do my own research.
I should do my own research on InfoWars. And I'm sorry, the speeches, like Abraham Lincoln, from everyone who's worked with him, did not speak like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that he got on stage and would talk like this with a piece of paper in his hand.
I thought it was, he really talks like Aaron Sorkin in his speeches.
Right.
No, I thought like it was really goofy when he was like doing his first speech, you know, where he was standing on the box or whatever in the town square, and he was doing the politician point. He was like doing the closed fist thumb point. Like that, it just... You know what this is? You know what? It's a turtle. It's a little turtle. That's what I'm doing. I'm not being a politician. It's just a little turtle. I hate the politician point, and I hate that they had him do it in the movie. Right. And so like, okay, just to be a little historian here, just briefly, Abraham Lincoln was very quiet and was also had a very high pitched voice for being such a large man. But no, I'm just picturing him like talking like a mouse. Right. Like he's tall, he's like 6'7" in his daily life, but when he gives a speech, he's like 3 inches tall. Right. But like allegedly when he gave speeches, it was actually very like, it was a very calm, collected, like points. He would be bringing up good points. And it wasn't something that was like grandiose, because that was very much not his personality. Yeah. And he also suffered from clinical depression. So like the war wasn't fucking easy for him to contend with. He just knew as a lawyer that he just knew from his experiences in law that like it was his job to see the country through. Mm-hmm. Kind of makes it more impressive that he hunted vampires.
Right? I know. Like, holy shit. Maybe he didn't have depression. Maybe he was just like tired from hunting all them vampires.
Yeah, I think people were like, "Abe, why are you so tired all the time?" He's like, I can't tell them. I'm depressed.
I'm just depressed.
I
I just have
see no
depression.
point to life, and that's why I have these circles under my eyes. Please do
Right,
not
exactly.
investigate further.
Have you seen like the before and after photos of Lincoln before the war and then after the war?
Yeah, dude, he aged. He aged
Like,
like Bill Clinton.
yeah, it was like quick. It was real quick.
Dude, it seems like every
And
president except for Trump, all of the presidents that like actually did work like aged horribly.
have you seen Obama? Have you seen like he still looks good, by the
Yeah, he
way.
still looks
Still looks
good, but he visibly aged.
right. And that was 8 years. That was it.
Yeah, like he went into office looking like 32 and he came out in his 80s.
Right. Yeah. Did you watch that video I sent you of Obama?
I did. I did. That was
Isn't it
great.
great? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Between that and the video when he's talking about Trump's vineyards, and he's just like he's talking about like this failed businessman has a couple vineyards. Has anybody tried that wine? I want to try that wine.
Look, I really don't like a lot of what Obama has done. Okay, I think the drone strikes alone are
Bad.
not very forgivable, but he is such a good public speaker. And
Yeah.
I wish that we had like a president that is a good public speaker that didn't have Obama's policy record. Like like
Yeah.
someone with a better like politics, like a better
Right.
policy background and all that, but could also give a speech like Obama.
Right. Dude, I don't know, like it goes into like pastor mode, like
Yeah.
political pastor. And you're like, wow, this guy isn't just talking about policies to further some sort of point. He actually cares about me.
Yeah, it's a great illusion. Yeah,
It's a great illusion.
yeah. No, it's like with pastors, like some of them, like I do not agree with a lot of what this guy says and does, but god damn, can he deliver a speech?
Oh, right. Well, I love Obama's like new like kind of slogan, which is like "Don't boo, vote." Right?
Yeah.
Because like he gets on stage and he talks about like, for instance, fucking. Wow. Now that I'm trying to think of his name, I forgot his name. The Georgia Republican senator,
Oh, Herschel Walker. Yeah.
And he talks about Herschel Walker, and he hears people go boo, and he goes, "No, no, no, we've been through this. Don't boo. They can't hear you boo. They cannot hear you boo. They can't hear it. They can hear you vote, though."
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, yes, yes, love it,
Yeah.
love it.
So anyway, that's all to say. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, best movie ever.
Oh, best movie ever.
I think.
100%.
Okay, look. Last week we reviewed Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter.
Vampire Hunter.
And I said that might be legitimately the worst movie ever, at least out of what we've reviewed here.
Yeah.
This might be the best movie ever.
This might.
This
This
might be the best movie
like
ever.
They threaded the line between this is we got it, it's obtuse completely, like just give it, don't look at it critically. It's Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. We know what Abraham Lincoln was up to.
Yeah. I like that it wasn't too like winking and nod to the camera, like
right. We know Mary Todd Lincoln was not there on Gettysburg.
Yeah, like it doesn't do like the Deadpool thing. Like it doesn't do like the postmodern like wink at the camera and be like, look at this crazy situation. Like it just plays it straight, and I love that.
Right. Yeah. And I like how it kind of shows, like to a certain extent, it kind of shows how like political figures aren't like only political figures. They also are their own people. And like I know it's like in an obtuse way that he was also a vampire hunter, but like you can be of a certain profession and still go into politics and make your voice heard and be voted into office from your constituents, right? From your peers. I think that's a cool point to push, even as obtuse as this movie is.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing to kind of show.
Yeah. So
yeah,
next week, it's my turn to pick. So Violent Night came out a couple days ago
Yes.
as of recording.
I want to see that.
I do. I really want to watch it. Haley watched it with some people that she writes a magazine with, and I want to talk about it with her. She wanted to talk about it, and I was like, no spoilers, please. I want to go in fresh. So next episode, Violent Night, starring David Harbour and other people.
Yes.
Yeah. Looks like it's only in theaters at the moment. So sorry to the listeners. But yeah, next week, Violent Night. I'm looking forward to it. And you want to get to recommendations?
You know what? Fuck it. Santa's president. Santa for president.
Yeah.
Name one bad thing Santa's done.
I mean, the elves.
But they want to work with him. Listen, it's
they
not
wouldn't
slavery
know what to do with freedom.
It's not slavery if they're not human.
Jesus.
JK, 100% with my entire heart, JK.
Yeah. I was also kind of hoping that like it would tie in with Twilight. Because like theoretically, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter could meet Jasper from the Cullen family.
Yeah, actually. But like Jasper is kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this war. I'm just a farmer. Who occasionally likes slaughtering a person for their sweet and supple blood. So
he wouldn't be the character that we present him as. I don't think they
would. I don't think they would. But
I would love to see like Abraham Lincoln and Jasper like eating dinner together, and like both of them trying to hide that they are a vampire hunter and a vampire respectively, and also arguing about the Civil War.
Right. And then, like, a waiter comes in and he accidentally cuts himself, and they're both like,
yeah.
Like,
Jasper's like,
up.
Oh shit, that looks delicious. And Abe's
oh
like,
shit, fuck.
Yo, what's this guy up to? Like, we need to preserve the Union and end slavery, even though Abraham Lincoln didn't really want to end slavery in particular.
It was more of a calculated move.
Yeah, but. Yeah, in the movie, though, he'd be like, we got to end slavery, and Jasper would be like, well, think of the economic consequences. Think of the money that we would lose.
Think of the hearts that we would change.
Think about this. We would have less money.
Think about this. More people would have more freedom.
They wouldn't know what to do with that freedom.
We don't know that until we try.
We shouldn't try anything because it is difficult.
I'm a politician. My job is to do things that are difficult.
I think I would like to go home.
You cannot. I'm actually gonna kill you now because you're a vampire.
Was it that obvious?
Motherfucker, your fangs are hanging down to your chin since the fucking waiter cut his hand. I know that you're a vampire.
Anyway.
Your face looks like porcelain.
Anyway. This was a weird sketch.
It was.
You know, they can't all hit.
No, that was good, motherfucker. I like that. God damn it.
It was good. I feel like the premise was better than the execution, but I think
my bit where I'm just like giving clear, concise answers, then also you're a vampire, so...
Yeah. Well, think about this. If hypothetically the Confederacy was made up of vampires, we would need a blood supply, and this is the best way that we have of having a consistent blood supply. I mean, if we were vampires.
Okay. Hey, listen, vampires, you guys have the right to exist. Okay, so how about this? We'll put a federal whatever together to do blood donations, and we'll say it's just for donations, but we'll give you some blood.
But we like the thrill of the hunt.
You see, that's where we come to an impasse there.
Yeah. Anyway, recommendations of the week.
Anyway, recommendations.
So I did share the show notes with you. If you have anything, write it down. But I just have a couple. So I've been talking about this, but physical media, it's good. And I haven't talked about the exact details of it in a while, but a Plex server is a good thing to have if you collect a lot of physical media, because it brings the convenience of streaming and like the security of owning stuff together into one thing. And that is actually how we both watched this week's movie, because I
In
bought the
fact.
Blu-ray at a secondhand store and I put it on Jonathan, my Plex server.
Yes.
And I use a thing called Make MKV to get data off of a disc, either a DVD or a Blu-ray. You do have to buy a Blu-ray drive if you want to rip Blu-rays, but DVDs, it's pretty simple and easy if you like already have a collection. So you use Make MKV, it gets a large MKV file, and then you use a program called Handbrake to like, get it, compressed down to an MP4, which is a lot smaller, but you don't lose a lot of quality. And then you just set up Plex on like whatever computer you already have, or if you have a NAS, then you can do it on that. But yeah, if you're interested, look up tutorials, because it's a great thing to have, and the barrier of entry is pretty low. And to go along with that, there's going to be a lot of holiday deals. So if you are looking to collect stuff, Amazon, sites like that are going to have holiday deals coming up. They had some decent Black Friday stuff. So,
yeah,
if you want, that's what I do. And it's pretty
That's what we do. And like, even from a person who doesn't contribute any movies to the thing, for us to like run this show, it's been a very good thing, because we have to jump between sometimes like different streaming services.
Yeah.
And Alex, you've been super awesome with like giving me passwords and access to streaming services so that I can participate in this show. Even though sometimes I don't even watch the movie, which fucking off me. By the way, no excuse there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah, and by the way, I didn't explicitly say it, but I did allude to it in my little piece there. But yeah, you can share your library with other people, just as long as you have remote access set up, which is just a simple matter of setting up the port forwarding, which if you don't know what that is, look it up. It's pretty simple, depending on what router you have. But yeah, you can share your library with other users.
Right. And it makes it just works for us, because sometimes if a streaming service doesn't if I don't have a streaming service that Alex has, or vice versa, one of us can just get a DVD, put it up on Plex.
Yeah, well, a lot of stuff just isn't on any streaming service.
Exactly.
Or it's on something that neither of us have.
Exactly. And something that is like clearly just money grubbing, or just a little bit like a little scammy. Smelling a little scammy.
Yeah.
And Plex is just a great way for us to coordinate movies and to share movies. So we can bring this amazing content to you viewers.
Yeah.
Our listeners.
And this was a bigger deal before I moved. I used to live in a very rural area, and internet access was it was very sparse. And we had like very limited internet access at my house.
Right.
So this was a way to like stream movies, not have to like deal with the whole, the whole trouble of setting up a DVD player and all that. Like, it is streaming, but it's stuff that you own. But it didn't use like our limited internet data. So, because it's all over the local network. So that's just another thing to think about.
Precisely.
So anyway, my other recommendation, I bought a new sweater. It's not the one that I'm wearing, but it is one that was on LTTstore.com, the Linus Tech Tips merch store. And it was the first like thing that I've bought from them. And like I've heard like it's good quality, they make good stuff. But now I can say firsthand, at least, the sweater that I bought, it was the crew neck sweater, which is now discontinued. I got it on clearance sale. But I can say that at least that specific product is good. It's high quality. It's worth the money. It's very very warm. It has pockets, which is nice. It's just good. So if you were thinking about buying something from them, from my limited experience, it seems to be as good as it seems.
I have a recommendation as well.
Yeah.
This is kind of built on a situation I'm going through with like school administration and stuff. I won't get into details, but if you are a part of a school or a part of an organization, just do research on your support organizations. Have it be a association or a union, and just make sure you know who's around you to affect change and to affect support, because you never know when you're going to need it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, like I know you're involved in student government and you've talked about that. And I won't go into detail, but there are we'll say there are things happening, vague things, and some people don't like it. And you're kind of gathering, like organizing, their thoughts and opinions in a way to affect
legally.
change. Legally, this is through like
within
processes
within the confines and rules of the university. I'm gathering information. So I just wanted to point that out, but also just make sure you even if there's nothing going on, make sure you're just aware of the the organizations and the groups and the people who are out there who want to help you, because there are certain things as a matter of principle that you deserve to have. And there are people who feel like-minded, and you don't have to be caught up in apathy about it. You don't have to just say, well, nothing can happen.
Yeah.
Right? You can reach out to the people who are there to advocate for you and affect the change you want to see. So I will get off my soapbox now, but that's my 1-2 punch on that one.
Yeah, just generally speaking, organizing is a good way to get things done that you want to get done. And, when it comes to some issues, especially like political issues, if your side doesn't get organized, the other side will. Like
especially when it's like a David versus Goliath situation.
Yeah.
Especially when some organizations that you might be contending with have corporate lawyers. They have corporate lawyers who looked through the contracts you may have signed, or have looked through all the different rules that you have to obey, and have the ability and resources to put you in a corner, right? You don't have to just sit down and take it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's a good message.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we have only gone for about an hour and 10 minutes. It's good. It's pretty crisp episode.
Yeah.
I guess maybe we could have covered the rail strike. Oh well, too bad we didn't. Too bad we gave no information or opinions on it.
I mean, we could just start now and then cut it in.
Nah.
Or would that be too janky? Nah.
It's not that I couldn't do it. It's just I do not want to.
That is a fair statement as well.
Yeah. Well, I will recommend. I've talked about this before, but going to live events, for me, live comedy, but it could be live music, live anything. It's just good and fun, and it makes your life better. I started doing comedy again. I've done one thing recently. I went to an open mic. It was at a co-op house, which, if co-op houses, it's an alternative form of funding your living situation. Instead of renting from a landlord, you become part of a cooperative group, and everything that you pay in is actually just going towards funding the existence of that place. So that's an aside. That's a side thing. But yeah, so I went to an open mic at a co-op house, and it was good. I had a good time. And if you are in a similar situation to me, where you used to go out and do stuff like that, fucking do it again. It's good. And that's what I've been.
Amen.
That's what I've been dealing with.
Amen. And I want to also say, like, super proud of you, man, to go out and do comedy again. And it's one thing to do it on a show where you're not sure how people will like react after you say it.
Yeah.
Versus like going out in front of people and saying stuff that you think they'll like, and you think will give them a huck, right? Like, I think that's incredibly impressive. So round of applause for you.
Yeah, well, doing stuff here, it's very like low risk, low reward. Like we could do a pretty phenomenal sketch, but we won't know if people like it. Like, theoretically we could see a number of thumbs up, but whatever. We don't get immediate feedback. But also we won't get booed. So that's...
And even if you do, that can be good information.
Yeah, no, it is. Either way, it is good to know. Right. But it is scary. Doing stuff live is higher risk, but it's also higher reward.
Exactly.
And just like on like I will not pretend that I'm just out here trying to make people laugh. Like, no, I am trying to boost serotonin in my brain. I'm trying to make myself feel better. This is about me. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not some altruistic person just trying to spread positivity in the world. No, this is for me. This is about myself. But also, yeah, it's a good way to make friends. It's a good way to feel better about yourself if you're good. If you're not good,
and if you want to, I guess it's a good way to make enemies too. But
it is an incredibly great way to make enemies, from what I've heard.
I don't know who's out to do that, but like, yeah, I guess you could do that too.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a surprising amount of like politics going on, like office politics, you know, with the comedy scene. Like there's, you know, certain bookers that don't like certain comedians and certain comedians that don't like other comedians, and you know, certain clubs that are like, oh, fuck that place.
Right.
Yeah. If you want, like, if you like happen to be in the Detroit, Ann Arbor area, or like in Michigan generally, and you're interested in comedy, or if you're just curious about the Michigan comedy scene, Carl Johnson has a good podcast where he talks to Michigan comedians, and it's been going for like since like early 2021, I think. And he's talked to some great people, great comedians, and it's like actually a good show. Like I like it outside of just, you know, talking to people that I see in town. Like it's just good. They have good conversations, and it's a good way. Like if you are interested, if you happen to be interested in the Michigan comedy scene, specifically like Detroit, Ann Arbor, he has talked to a couple of, I know he talked to Matt Zarilli, who basically just runs the Northern Michigan comedy scene. But yeah, he's talked to people from all over the state. I think he's talked to a couple people from like LA, but it's just good stuff. So it's called Maybe Some Other Time. It's by Carl Johnson. He has 77 episodes so far.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And if I make it far enough, perhaps I will be on one someday.
One of these days. I believe in you.
Yeah.
And if there's anything I can do to help, let me know.
Yeah. Can you actually, can you train your snipers on Carl Johnson?
Yeah. I can do that.
Can you threaten a man's life for me?
Tell you what, I'll just like get some nukes together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna confront him in a dark alley with a knife, but I think that's a lot cleaner. You know, it's a little less personal, but
Right. Exactly.
Anyway. I think that's the show then.
I believe so.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening to another episode of What to Say. If you liked it, then like it. If you subscribe, then subscribe. And if you comment, it better be nice. If you liked something, then say it. If not, fuck you. If
something turned you on in this, let us know.
Yeah, let us know what's working for you.
Yeah. I mean, we're not here to kink shame. We're just taking notes.
Yeah, no, we're purely gathering data.
Exactly. We're like Facebook, but not evil.
Yeah, we're like Google if they kept their mantra of don't be evil. By the way, they got rid of that. Kind of fucked up, isn't it?
Yeah, a little fucked up.
A little bit. I mean, it didn't hold. It wasn't legally binding, but the fact that they felt the need to get rid of it, a little sus.
Right.
Follow me on social media. Don't follow Gavin anywhere.
Don't follow me.
It's
Don't
quite
do it.
Unwise. He doesn't like it. But if you want to follow someone, follow me.
I probably wouldn't even notice it either because my Instagram is derelict.
You mean nothing to him.
Yeah, no, you get out of my life. Get out of my life.
Get away.
Unless
unwashed masses.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, come on.
Leave us a review. My door all hours of the night.
Leave us a review on Podchaser. That's like an IMDb type set for podcasts. If you want to leave us a review on Spotify or Apple, that is greatly appreciated. Again, it does have to be positive because we do have very fragile egos.
And I have feelings. Don't make me cry.
Yeah, don't make either of us cry. It's
what the hell, man?
It just isn't nice.
It doesn't feel good. I mean, sometimes it feels good to cry to get emotions out, which actually then make us cry. But like,
don't give us a reason to cry.
Well, like, give me the ability, because sometimes it's hard to get the waterworks going. So like, give me the ability to cry, and then let me work out everything else through that.
It's nice to have the option, but like, I don't want to like be in the position to need to cry.
Exactly, especially in front of people.
Yeah, so anyway, subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Turn on notifications, turn on automatic downloads. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
Let's leave. Surprisingly few sound pads this episode.
Right.